How's it going, everybody? Doing a request here today. This is for the games I beat in Gum Chewing games I beat in 2022. Got some of the old Big League Chew that I had before. For the other video, I'm wearing the same shirt. I'm filming this at night. I filmed the PS4 collection during the day. I thought this was a good idea for a request. Although, unfortunately, I have not. There goes the train. Unfortunately, I have not beaten a lot of this games this year. It's actually 11 games. And, 6 of them here are on disc. And the other ones are, I beat digital copies of it. A few of them didn't even come physical, but I'll start with this one, the One Switch game that was beaten this year. It's a Yoshi's Crafted World. My fiance and I beat this. I'm pretty sure we beat it sometime in early 2022. Really fun, cool game. It's good to play with somebody else. Good co-op game. It's fun. It has a nice look to it. This one has Kamek and I think it's Bowser Jr. steal all the gems from the Yoshis, and then you gotta collect them all back and stuff like that. It looks nice. All these previous this one and a couple other Yoshi games have a nice, cool look to them. This one's everything's like craft type stuff. There's Poochie as well. I think he's Poochie. He pops up some bonus missions and shit. It's a fun little platformer, you know. Cute little platformer. That can be a little difficult at times, but it's not really ridiculous. That's the first one. As for digital, I beat Kona this year. That game Kona, if you've ever played it. I'm trying to remember. You're like a detective or you're a private investigator and you go to investigating this stuff that happens in Alaska. The town actually might be called Kona. I think that might be the name of it, but it's a cool game where you have to keep warm. So you have to like start fires in either fireplaces and stuff like that. Because you have like a meter where you get too cold. You got to keep your temperature up, and there's like another meter for something else, I think. And you're trying to find clues. And there's a supernatural element to this one, which is cool. Pretty cool game. This is another one I beat back in like January of 22. A lot of these games are actually completed in January of 22. And then for some reason I have a problem of like playing a game, enjoying it, but then wanting to move to something else and then not going back to the other game. But it was really cool. It's like a narration going on by a guy, and you're finding stuff, and there's little hidden things you can find, and you're like piecing together the story. It's actually really, really a cool game. I like you can drive around, you have your map, driving around your little truck and stuff, but I like the element of like you gotta keep warm. So you'll find like logs and matches and shit like that. You gotta use them in fireplaces and other places, like little fire pit type things. Really cool game though. I'd actually check it out. If you haven't, I think maybe like I think I bought it on sale at some point for like $4. And another like indie game that I beat. It was another kind of mystery game. I really like the mystery games like Firewatch and Gone Home and stuff like that. And another one, and Oxenfree was another one that I liked. Virginia, that was a good one. Another one. I think he plays an FBI. This is a female FBI agent, and you go to this town and you're trying to figure out what happened. It's very like Twin Peaks Not overly long, but it was cool. It had a very distinct look to it. Cool art style in the game. The achievements were very weird. They had like all strange numbers on them. I got some and it was like 83, 850, like weird numbers like that. Another one I can't remember a lot of though, but it was a pretty cool mystery. I remember that. But it was short. That was a cool one as well. There's another one I ended up getting for like $2. That and Kona, at least on the Xbox store, are always on sale. There's some games always on these Xbox or PS4 or 5, whatever. And Nintendo, that'll always go on sale like 3 times a month. Those are cool. Another game I'm pretty sure I beat in January is, or February, is G.I. Joe Operation Blackout. I picked this up because it was like $8 and I loved G.I. Joe when I was a kid. And this is a very average game. It's not terrible, but you play from both sides. You play as Cobra in certain missions and you play as the Joes. I use Duke Scarlet, Roadblock. I forget who else. Snake Eyes as well on that side, and then the other side use Firefly, Cobra Commander, Zartan, Baroness, I believe, Destro, maybe Storm Shadow as well. It's a cool game, but it's very basic. You're just like running through levels, just killing a bunch of robots on either side, and then you just go through that way. And sometimes you have to do different things. It looks okay graphically. It gets very repetitive very fast. But it was decent. I actually wanted to complete it. There's some missions we gotta use, like when you're on the USS Flag, the aircraft carrier, you gotta shoot down rattlers and shit like that. And then it's opposite, where you like take it over and you're using Cobra. And then you gotta take down Sky Strikers, or whatever they were called. This game's like the definition of a 6 out of 10. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's very average to fair, like a slightly above average, depending if you like G.I. Joe, I guess. But it wasn't overly long either. The one I beat somewhat recently was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, the one that came out in December, I think, or November, maybe it was November. It was a new game, but it was in the vein of the old Ninja Turtle games, like Turtles in Time and the TMNT, the arcade game, Hyperstone Heist, all that shit. And it was cool. It had a nice cartoony kind of graphical style. It had like an overworld you're going through. It was a fun beat 'em up where you could use all the turtles, and you could use April O'Neil as well, and Splinter. And then I think after you beat it, I unlocked Casey Jones. You could use. Solid beat 'em up with some flying type missions that they always used to have in those games, where you're like on a freaking skateboard type thing, hoverboard type thing, or whatever. That was a fun one for sure. And you're fighting all the enemies from the other one. I think they were trying to get Krang's body back, the brain's body back that he uses, and then eventually you fight Shredder. That was a pretty cool one for sure. Halo Infinite was another one I completed in January. I got it when it came out in December, but I was looking at my achievements to see what games I completed in this year. And this one was, I beat this in early January as well, so I was playing it in 21 and 22, but I completed it in 22. Halo Infinite's awesome. It's open worldy. It's not massive open world. It's open to like a point until you have to unlock certain areas kind of by doing shit. But it is a sizable area, and then you can do other stuff. The story is you get grabbed in space by a dude, and you bring him back to, I forget what the name of the thing is. Does it say it on here? No. But the guy who's flying like the Pelican or whatever grabs him, and then you land on this it's another Halo ring, because it's been like partially destroyed. And the Banished, who I think first appeared in Halo Wars 2, there goes another funny. It never seemingly can cut. They come like when I'm making vids and stuff, and I don't need to take the train. They seemingly are coming both ways every 20 minutes. But when I need to come home, they're like every hour. But and you're fighting the Banished in this one, and you have another Cortana type. She's pretty much is Cortana. She's like made as like almost like a clone Cortana, and Master Chief kind of doesn't trust her. And you're hearing the story of the Banished, like the beginning of the game when you end up in that kind of like stasis thing. Is because this guy, what the fuck was his name? The one brute just beats the shit out of you, and he disappears, but he's not dead. But it's like Cortana wiped out Earth, their planet with AI or some shit. I forget his name. There's other ones you fight. There's some fucking annoying boss battles in this game, honestly. The hunters are tough again in this game, which is nice. There's cool sides if you do. You can get bounty. You do bounties on like high level, like grunts or jackals or brutes, elite stuff like that. You're jumping in all types of vehicles, and every time you get to a FOB, you can now call in vehicles when you unlock them, and you have other Marines come in. There's cool parts in this game where, like, say I get on not the like Warthog variant that doesn't have the gun on the back. Like, you can get like 5 Marines with you going into battle with fucking other enemies. You get nice little like contained battles that are really fun. Once you get the Scorpion tank, you're like steamrolling shit, just launching your freaking things. You shoot missiles or whatever, shells, large shells, and just destroying enemies left and right. It's still a great shooter. It looks good. You have a grappling hook in this one. You can upgrade other shit as well, like your shield. You find fallen Spartans throughout the game. You pick up their little ability type things, like a drop shield. I think there's a cloaking device. What else was I forget? There's a couple other ones. It was really cool. I enjoyed it. The story was okay, but it was a nice change of pace from Halo 5. I didn't hate Halo 5, but 4 and 5 for me are the weaker ones in the series, even though I like them. I'm more partial towards the Bungie ones, but this one was at 343. This one is really good, actually. And they have like versions of the other original tunes from the Halos, which is cool as well. Really good game. And you gotta destroy like propaganda towers and stuff and save some other soldiers that are captured. So it's other side things you can do, and you're finding items as well throughout. You can find all types of stuff in the world. This game we just beat yesterday, well, the 31st. We beat this yesterday. Well, this is going up on January 2nd. We beat this yesterday, 31st. Not the full thing, but the main game story. We beat Sackboy Big Venture. Cool 2-player game. You can play up to 4 people as well. Some of the difficulties is annoying because we were playing, and if someone got a little too far ahead, it wouldn't focus the camera on one and kind of suck the other one over. It did it occasionally, but a lot of times it screwed you because then both characters were screwed. That was annoying. Sometimes the controls weren't that responsive with shit you could do, but still a cool game. This is Sackboy from the Little Big Planet games, and this is his Big Adventure, which is a 3D platformer. There's 5 worlds, and then there's another world, bonus world after you beat it. There's extra shit to do after you beat it. You gotta collect orbs in each level and get all the outfits you can get. You can customize outfits, buy outfits, and you complete outfits, then you get new outfits and stuff. Bells are your currency, like, and shit. It was fun, and there's variations, variety of the gameplay as well, with certain abilities you get in each level and stuff I've talked about, what I've been playing, but I pick it up. It's a nice change of pace as well. I pick it up. The guy's name is Vex. He like comes in and captures the other Sack people, and he's trying to make him build something. You gotta stop him, and then you have to use a certain amount of orbs to open up different areas and stuff like that. There's time trials, and there's other ones you gotta do. You gotta finish them in a certain amount of time to get the best, score, and there's a bunch of those. You collect puzzles, and then you gotta do those and shit. But, cool game. Last of Us Part 2. I talked about this for 40 minutes in my review. I'm not gonna go on about it too much here. I really did enjoy it quite a bit. I'm not gonna spoil anything in this video. I've done enough of that, but gameplay's still there. Graphically looks great. I enjoyed the story well enough. Now I'm not gonna sit here and tell you some of the reviewers blowing their load, it's revolutionary and game storytelling. It isn't. It's a solid story. It does well with the post-apocalyptic type world where everything's kind of gray. Everybody's kind of fucked up and an asshole. The characters you use, the enemy, everybody's done something messed up in these games. These type of games or medium, movies, TV shows. But they did a good job sympathizing with everybody, really. Understanding the motives and shit, but it was a good story. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it blew my mind. Let's not pretend this is on Silent Hill 2's level, alright? Let's not pretend it is. But I think sometimes the mainstream review places they start to fucking blow their load over certain games and the story, and they act like it's some kind of revolutionary thing. I've seen this more than once. People were doing it with that game Gone Home. I know a lot of people hated that because it's basically just a walking simulator for 2 hours, but it's a good mystery in it. And I will say this again about Gone Home. There was a part in that game where my heart sank. I didn't know what I was going to find. It didn't end up being what I thought it was, thankfully. But I was like, oh my God, I'm going to come across something here. And I was like, this is insane. Really good moment that I've never gotten in a game. That was really cool. And I like Gone Home, but I'm not going to tell you it's some kind of revolutionary story in a video game. Yeah. But this is a really good fucking game. Gameplay's still there. Exploring. Really cool. Just really good. It's got length to it. Got replayability. There's collectibles to find. You're making all types of shit. Bombs. You get different guns. You can upgrade the guns. It's a really cool fucking game. Let me look at my phone. I know that the two of the other digital games, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything because I wrote them down. Come on. This is taking a month. Just going on my notes and it's taking a freaking year. Alright. So the two digital games are actually, you could have gotten on disc. And it's two Sherlock Holmes games. Two of the Sherlock Holmes games. The first one was Crimes and Punishments, which I was playing 2 years ago. And then went back to it because I'd beaten the second one. I'll talk about that one. Or the sequel to this one. But Crimes and Punishment was a good one. Actually, I think there was another one before that on the 360. First Jack the Ripper, and there was the Testament of Sherlock Holmes. And there's a new one now. But, I like these games. You're obviously playing Sherlock Holmes, and you do a lot of cool stuff with the investigative work. You gotta when you're you interrogate people when you bring them to the station, but when you're interviewing people, you have to you look them over and you gotta find every little thing about them and then piece together things. And you find new things. There's a little screen you go to that you gotta connect the dots to get the right outcome, and you can get the wrong outcome. Graphically, they were good, looked good. I think it was Crimes and Punishments that had it, because I was literally up to the last case on this one, and I decided to just complete it. But, like I said, I might have played 3 years ago. There was a cool one where a guy killed the person with an ice knife, and they couldn't find the murder weapon because it melted, because he killed him with it in a sauna, and he killed him, and then the thing melted. It was really cool. I can't remember exactly everything, but it was really cool. But they're fun detective puzzle games, and it's there's some button pressing stuff you gotta do, but it's not like a super bunch of combat or anything like that. I would check these out, and I got these both cheap. The second one was Devil's Daughter, which I played through, and I'm like, I want to finish Crimes and Punishments. Same thing with Devil's Daughter. I think there's 5 cases, and you're doing stuff, and Watson will help you out. And same game, you're interrogating people, you're doing other stuff. I want to say there's collectibles to find in this, but I could be wrong. Definitely check these two games out if you're into like the mystery detective type games, kind of old school adventure vibe to them as well. And all the voice acting was good in it. And you also do stuff as Sherlock Holmes when you bring stuff back to his apartment. You got to use like his chemicals and stuff to do certain things and shit. It's really cool. You got to be like precise. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in those two games. They're really good. I'm definitely checking out. There's Crimes and Punishments and Devil's Daughter were the two that came out on the Xbox One and the PS4. And I think that new one did too, like Sherlock Holmes Season 1 or something, I don't know. The Testament of Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes vs. Jack the Ripper were on the 360 and the PS3. I don't know if Sherlock Holmes vs. Jack the Ripper was made by the same people who made Devil's Daughter and Crimes and Punishments, but I'm pretty sure they made the Testament of Sherlock Holmes. I forget what their name is. And the last game I got here is Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, another one I did a review on. Really good game. I've talked about the issues I've had with this game. Mainly, it's that the enemies are still freaking bullet sponges. Actually, speaking of that, there was a part in Last of Us Part 2 where I shot a human enemy in the face, and they kept coming. I was so pissed. And usually that game doesn't do that. For some reason, it did this time. Anyway, this is another game that looks great. I will admit, I wasn't hating it, but it took until about chapter maybe like 7 or 8 where I really started to get into it. It was like right after this, like towards the tail end of the Scotland area where you go underground into like the underground crypt or whatever. But it's huge Drake with his brother Sam, and he thinks Sam's dead at one point for reasons. If you play, you'll know. I've spoiled this already, I'm sure. But he's not dead, and then you gotta help him out, and there's some nice twists along the way. Your old partner is the one who's going after this treasure as well. It's the I forget the pirate's name. And they end up finding, like, they want to find the pirates, because all these pirates, like, made their own utopia somewhere, but of course it didn't end up that way. You find all that stuff out. Avery is the main one, and then there's a bunch of other known pirates as well in there. Graphically it looked great, the voice acting's good, story was decent, and I do like how they ended it. They didn't end it on a depressing note, and everybody lives, and then you get like a years later scene, which was cool, which they kind of can lead off to you playing as another person, which I won't say, but because Drake's older, Elena's older. Well, the people are back, Sully's back, and everything, and Drake and Elena are married at that point. But pretty good story, and once again, the voice acting's great. These games, it looked amazing. The combat is fun outside of the bullet sponges. This one also has a really cool action set piece like the other ones have had, where you're getting dragged along, you're climbing on a rope, and you get on the back of trucks, and you're throwing stuff, you're shooting up motorcycles, you're hopping from truck to truck. That was well done. And there's collectibles to find and everything else. A good amount of different environments in this one. The hook in this one is the new thing is you slide down a lot of things in this one. And there's always a well-positioned crate or something. Always the same crate that you can help to get up things. But really cool game though, obviously. I love the Uncharted, so I want to get the Uncharted Collection just to play through the others. The first one's my favorite. I have so much nostalgia from that one, and just when I first played it, I was like, this is incredible. I've played through that game like 5 or 6 times. Second one I played through a bunch too. The third one I only played through once, so I'd actually like to play through that one again. Drake's Deception. And I completed the one, Golden Abyss, on the Vita. I gotta get the DLC. I can't remember what it's called. With Chloe and the other woman that's in this one. I can't remember her name though. She beats the shit out of Drake a few times. I can't remember what that was called. I think Sam is also in that one. But yeah, great game. Uncharted 4, Thief's End. But yeah, that was a request here. Games I've completed in 2022. Not a lot. I like this idea though. So I want to say thank you for the request. And I think I'm going to do this maybe like bi-monthly where I complete games and talk about the ones I completed maybe in a month or wait 2 months if I build them. Because I plan on completing more games and not bouncing back and forth as much as I did